Hey guys, I'm on a tour right now, driving from Toronto to Pittsburgh. Played a show last night with Makaya, tomorrow with Nubia Garcia at the Pittsburgh Jazz Festival. And I'm using this time in the car to practice the Nubia songs and then also to make some phone calls. And I just had an interesting call with a violin player from Atlanta. I actually got a Facebook message from her, and it was... I'd never met her before, but the Facebook message was something to the effect of, you had contacted me a couple of years ago and your message went into my filtered messages and I didn't get the message, but it was wanting to work together and I didn't get that message, and since then I've been feeling regretful that I never worked with you because you've been doing all these amazing things, because she's been watching my Facebook and seeing the tours and the studio and all that, the video series, and she was thinking that if she had gotten my message that her life would have been different and that she would have been on a different path, so she had this regret about it. So I felt to call her and explain to her something that now I want to explain to you guys, because I think it's a very it's something we do a lot, and it's something that I've done a lot in my past. I'm 34 now, but she's 24, and I did this a lot when I was 24. The situation was that I was recording a string quartet for my fiancée at the time, and I'd written her a string quartet for her birthday, and I was hiring some string players in Atlanta to record it when I was living there. So I'd reached out seeing if she would record the string quartet, and I got some people. Yes, she didn't reply, so I got some other string players, and it was great, and the party was great, and I paid them a little bit of money, but I'd never worked with any of those string players again. I might one day, but there was nothing big to have come from that. And she, like many other people possibly, was thinking, if only I had responded to that, my life would be different right now. And it reflects a mentality that we all have to some degree, but it's not the right mentality. It's the mentality of, I will progress my career by seeing opportunities from people around me who are further ahead than me, and then have them work with me, and therefore my career will progress to where I want it to be, and then I won't be this starving musician anymore. But that's not how it works. For anybody who's done anything amazing, it's been the opposite. So that's top down, right? But the reality of it is we tend to search for that top down, that person who can give us a big break. But that's not how it happens. It's bottom up. We build something. The people who have the careers that reflect the ones that we want are the ones who start with the resources that they have, which are usually no resources. They're often starving musicians at the beginning, and they work with what they have, which is sometimes at this point in time just an iPhone video camera or a GarageBand on your phone, and do exactly the best that you can do with that resource and put it out and work on it and improve it, and then do another one with that resource until you have people who are supporting you and you have more resources to do more things. But you start with what you have, and it's okay to start with what you have and put out something that you, or at least create something that can be shitty at the beginning. Let it be shitty and then improve upon it if you feel to improve upon it, but then release it and let it be not your best, because you'll do another one after that. That's what I did with this channel. I've been releasing videos for 10 years. At the beginning of it, it was just improvisations and no lessons. And I did that for a while, and it turned out people liked the lessons when I told people what I was doing rather than just did it. So I started doing that more and did it consistently with no resources, just a phone camera. And now it has 24,000 followers. And tonight I played a gig in Toronto with Makaya, and there were people in the audience who came because of Weekly Piano, because there are people all over the world who watch it now. But it's because I did it with no resources. Well, with minimal resources. You have to have something, but most of you have something. If you're watching this, if you have a device to watch this on, then you have something to start with. I just want to cite an example. Angel Bataweed, one of my friends. I don't know her incredibly well, but I love her to death. She's an incredible human being, an incredible spirit in Chicago. She recorded her first album on her phone and released it, and it got covered in Rolling Stone, and now she's touring the world. That happens. It's not guaranteed to happen, and it probably won't happen. But rather than getting covered in Rolling Stone, maybe you'll get some followers on YouTube when you release it. Or maybe like it'll get on a Spotify playlist, and you start where you are. So look at where, it's so important that we look at where we are, and we look at how we can be better. So practice, do our absolute best, and create an output. So there are a couple books that help with this. And don't regret. Also, thinking about the past is one of the worst possible things we can do for ourselves in general. It's important to learn from the past, but once we have that lesson, you can stop thinking about it. Regret is the most useless thing ever. And it's usually wrong in the first place, because the reality that you extrapolate out, just like this violin player was extrapolating out a reality of success in her career if she had just gotten my message and worked with me, those sorts of things are fallacies that we create in our mind. It's not real, because there are a million other possibilities of reality that could have happened that instead of that reality that we project in our mind. So yeah, creating our reality is where we need to start. So read The War of Art. It's a play on the art of war, obviously, and it's really good. And it talks about resistance and about creating. Then also The Untethered Soul is a great one, and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is a great one. Those will help with these sorts of ideas. And then just work really hard. For example, I'm on this grueling tour that's 11 months long right now, and I'm driving from Toronto to Pittsburgh because there weren't any flights available to get me there early enough to play at the Pittsburgh Jazz Festival with Nubia Garcia in time to play with her at 2 p.m. And be reliably there for the sound check beforehand. And I wanted to do the gig with Micaiah in Toronto, so I'm driving a little over 5 hours now, in the middle of the night after the Micaiah gig, and that's the sort of thing that's like, yeah, you'll have to work really hard at it. And I'm practicing the songs. In fact, this is so bad that I'm doing this video while I'm driving, and I'm sure that you guys are going to rip me apart for it, but I am keeping my eyes on the road. I'm not looking at the video for the most part, but I'm practicing the Nubia material as I'm not doing this video. Like, see, I've got my keyboard here in my lap, my Yamaha Reface, the Reface CS, the Reface CS, the synthesizer one that I use at all my gigs, because it's battery powered and has speakers, and I can practice on the road. So going over the music, doing these videos, and then figured I'd give you this advice that I just had this conversation about. Hopefully we can all live with less regrets and more forward thinking and doing our best to create with what we have. All right, love you guys, and happy creating.